Hello, everyone. This is Rivka again. I'm doing part 2 of this little halacha series on Hafrasha's Challah, part 2. I did part 1 the other day. Give me just a moment to mute this and to share this with other people. Just want to make sure everyone's able to. I don't have it, sweetie. Group. Okay. Apparently, I'm not able to do that. All right. Well, I guess I'll repost it later since I'm not able to. Page. Okay. Technical issues. So yesterday we posted part 1. And now all right, it's just not gonna let me do it, I guess. Wonder if I can just copy and paste. Yeah, here we go. I'll just copy and paste it instead. There we go. All right, post on Facebook. There we are. All right, let's continue with some basic questions. So if you didn't get to listen to yesterday's, you can listen to that and then do this one. So I'm just going to continue with some frequently asked questions in regards to this mitzvah. Just to kind of review, we have the mitzvah of separating challah, and we we have kohanim that have a suffix or a question. So we don't give it to an actual kohen. And there's also the issue of tameh. We are all tameh, and a kohanim has to be ritually pure in order to eat it. So, and we don't have a base of mikdash, so there's a whole host of issues here. So just a couple more questions. So one separate challah from dough, which is not thick, but which one plans to bake. So kind of depends on how thick it is. So this mentions here sponge cakes are exempt because of the small amount of flour used, unless one makes a very large quantity of cake, such as a quantity made by a bakery. When separating challah from such a dough, the hafrasha should take place after it is baked, unlike an ordinary dough from which challah is normally separated before it is baked. If you notice the name challah, the challah bread is specifically made for Shabbos, and it's also called challah because you're taking challah from him. And if you go to a kosher place, or if you're in a kosher bakery or a place that sells kosher bread, there is usually a thing on the packaging that says challah was taken, and that is a requirement to look for that. So you want to make sure that when you buy bread, it actually says that on the packaging, or if it's like a general bakery, that the bakery, does that. Like we have a kosher department. So our store is partially kosher, so it has its own kosher bakery, and they do challah there. But like the regular bread place doesn't. So there's also a question of whether you can buy bread from a non-Jew and that kind of thing, which I'm not really touching on. There is a leniency that you can buy bread from a non-Jew. So, all right, continuing. Dough which contains no water has special laws. We'll cover that later, it says. One must, no, honey, no, that's fragile. Go play with the cars, okay? All right, must one separate challah from a thick dough, which one intends to cook or deep fry in water or oil, but not bake. For example, dough used to make kreplach and donuts. Since the dough will not be baked, it is exempt. Nevertheless, many poskim write that one should be stringent and separate challah from such a dough without a bracha. So similar to what I covered with mikveh dishes, you have the issue of you need to mikveh it, but you're not going to say a bracha. Such as with wood. So I'm going to, sorry, I was saying in there. All right. So that's that. Next question. If dough is first cooked and then baked, does it require Hafrasha's challah? Yes, a common example of this is dough of bagels, which is boiled and then baked. Hang on, sweetie. Challah must be taken from, sorry for the noise, be taken from this dough since a production ends with baking. So if you're making a large quantity, one must separate challah from dough fried in a pan. if there is a large amount of liquid in the pan, it is considered cooking and the dough is exempt from Hafrasha's challah. If there is only a small amount of liquid, such as oil, present just to prevent the dough from burning, it is considered baking and the dough is obligated in a Hafrasha's challah. Dough with no water. Must challah be separated from dough that was made without water? So like juice, I suppose. Yes, challah must be separated as long as there is any edible forms of the 7 liquids: wine, bee honey, olive oil, milk, dew, water was used to make the dough. Since these are the recognized liquids in the Torah, the poskim disagree about whether dough made with no water, but only with vegetable oil or real fruit juice requires challah. The halacha and practice is that we separate challah from such a dough without a bracha. So if it's made with juice, you separate challah, but you don't say a bracha because there's a question. Sorry, no, honey. Grains subject to challah. Which grains are included in the requirement of separating challah from their doughs? Only the 5 grains are obligated to challah. So these are the same grains that you need to worry about fermentation or become a chametz on Pesach. Wheat, barley, spelt, rye, and oat. So those are the same 5 grains. Again, wheat, barley, spelt, rye, oat. It is true. This is true even when the grains are mixed together to form a dough. How much flour? This is a real key to seeing when you need to actually do this. So it's not only when you make challah for Shabbos, but it's for any bread. The quantity of dough subject to the mitzvah of challah is derived from the verse in the Torah that tells us how much dough is needed. Go play, sweetie. Each Jew tells us how much dough each Jew needed from the daily manna that fell during the Jewish people's sojourn in the desert. This quantity is calculated as 43 1/5 egg worth of flour. This is interesting to note that the gematria is 43. How much is that? All right. Okay, guys. All right. Sorry about that. You guys need to go play now. I'm doing a video. Okay, sorry. That is very rude. All right. So there's different opinions. You need to stop this right now. Sorry about that interruption. So there's a few different opinions. So there's 3 pounds, 1.67 kilograms, 5 pounds. That's so 3 to 5 pounds or more. You say with a bracha, and without a bracha, according to everybody, if you have 2.3 pounds of flour, you need to separate but not say a bracha. So if one has no scale to weigh the flour, as most people just use cups, when the amount of flour is between 8 2/3 cups and 14.5 cups, one should separate challah without a bracha. When the amount is 14.5 cups or more, one should separate challah with a bracha. Forgive me for the interruptions. All right. Is the flour that one sprinkles on the counter when braiding the challah is included in the minimum amount? Yes. So if you do a cup of flour, half a cup of flour on the counter, include that in your measurements or in. Okay. Let me go take her away and I'll continue. I should put them in the other room. So let's continue. All right. I'm trying to figure out how to share this. So we're going to continue. So hopefully that helps you guys with that. Coming, just climb over, sweetie. Thought you could get out. All right. I wanted to do this at the beginning of the day. All right. Okay. As well, she apparently got out. Okay. Is one permitted to make a bunch of small batches of dough so that each one will not be obligated in Challah? No, one may not intentionally avoid the obligation of Challah unless there's a specific reason why one is doing so, such as when one does not want different types of dough with different tastes to become mixed together. So you have to actually make different types. Is it required when bread will not be eaten? For example, one makes a bread or challah to serve as a centerpiece for a table. Yes, you still have to do that. What about with one must have challah from dough made to be eaten with plain dough, and not to be baked? Yes. Do you have to that something that will not be eaten? You don't have to separate it. So if you're just purely doing it for decorative purposes, you don't have to do it. All right, let's do a couple more questions and then I gotta go. Does bread made by Jews to be served to non-Jews require covers challah? Yes, so because it's made by Jews. Is this required for bread that is owned by a non-Jew and just served by a Jew? No. So with that, I'm going to pause here because my daughter is being incredibly annoying and fussy. So I will continue on with part 3 and hopefully later today when I don't have screaming children. So I thought I would have a few minutes, but wait. Thank you, and I hope you